Anthony Gordon or Bruno Fernandes, which one is coming into my team? This is my team selection video for Game Week 21. Hope you guys are well and you've enjoyed the mini FPL break. In today's show, we're going to be talking captaincy. It's a massive one in Game Week 21. We've got to talk Palmer versus Isak versus Salah. We're going to talk about my team and my moves, and we're going to touch on both the assistant manager chip and, because we've got player manager prices now, but also potential teams blanking in Game Week 29 and if we'll be using our free hit then. So loads to get through. If you're enjoying the show, do hit that like button. Do subscribe to the channel. But without further ado, let's just talk a little bit about blank Game Week 29 because it has to form part of our thinking when we're making moves because, look, it's too early to say if we'll use our free hit in Game Week 29. And many of us probably will use our free hit in 29. We'll know the outcome of the blanks after the second leg of the EFL Cup final. That will take place around Game Week 25. As things stand, we're getting blanks for Newcastle and Palace. And you could argue Villa or Liverpool, but that comes down to Liverpool playing Spurs, and it's 1-0 at the moment in Spurs' favour. It could be Fulham Spurs instead. But Newcastle are going to edge Arsenal. I think they're 2-0 up. They go to St James's Park. They're heavy favourites for that one. So if you're thinking, do I buy player X or player Y? And one of them is guaranteed a fixture in 29, like Bruno, and the other one isn't, like Anthony Gordon. Maybe that plays a small part of your thinking. Of course, this is still 6-7 weeks away. You should be picking the players that are going to get most points for you now, but it's always at the back of your mind. So that was all from Ben Krellin, and do follow him on X if you're not already. I'll keep you up to date with my chip strategy on this channel, of course. But look, let's compare where I'm looking to use a transfer this week. And to do that, I wanted the visual stuff on the Scout members area. So straight away, just looking at Bruno in red, Phil Foden in blue and Gordon in green. This is since Amorim took over, Game Week 12. Only fair, I think, to compare Game Week 12 onwards because it's actually a really nice sample size. And all these guys have had pretty much the same minutes since Game Week 12. So it's a fair test, right? Now, who comes out on top? Levels apart, to be quite frank, is Anthony Gordon in most of the metrics. Bruno is clearly second in red there, top for things like bonus chances created, some of the big chances. But Phil Foden is down in third in most metrics, and that's slightly alarming for me and why I'm willing, I think, to sell Phil Foden this game week. He's been good for me, and I've had returns in the last couple, but I do think one of those other two are worth jumping on now, and the fixtures are so good. When we look at the fixtures coming up, both Bruno and Gordon have 3 homes in their next 4. We can see Newcastle sort of in the first third there, Wolves and Bournemouth at home, followed by Southampton away and then Fulham at home. So 3 of the next 4 at home. Man United the same. They play Southampton, Brighton and Palace at home with an away trip to Fulham. Man City, in contrast, it's 3 away trips. To Brentford, tough place to go, Ipswich and Arsenal. And then, of course, they're at home to Chelsea. But City way down there on the fixture ticker. This is filtered by difficulty, of course. So just a few things I think to consider there. But really, Bruno versus Gordon is a really, really tight one for me. Yes, you could say Gordon edges it with the fixtures. But Bruno feels like he's coming into his own. If you watch the FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal, he was fantastic again. And actually, when we talk Bruno and we look last time out against Liverpool, that 2-2 draw, he was fantastic. He got bonus points. Against Arsenal in the FA Cup, he took his goal so well. And what we're seeing is Bruno in the front 3 is so good for him. And Amorim seems to now be trusting Agati and Mainu in the midfield too. Bruno's front 3, and being a front 3 player, a load of chances will drop in his favour. And when the ball drops to Bruno, he's efficient in front of goal. We saw that against Arsenal. What a finish. He's also on all the corners, all the penalties, all the set pieces. He's the main man. He's the talisman. And therefore, I think he's my most favourite to buy. Also, if we talk entry points, Southampton at home is as good as it gets, isn't it? As good as it gets at the moment. So Bruno's front of mind. If we just compare him with Anthony Gordon for a sec, look, Gordon's also very good and he's been super consistent. He also had a little bit of a rest. Bruno played 120 minutes on Sunday. Anthony Gordon on Sunday came on at half-time for Harvey Barnes. He actually came on when it was 1-1 versus Bromley. Straight away scored within 4 or 5 minutes. It was a penalty. No Isak. Gordon was on pens. Again, a nice thing to know about Gordon. He's on pens when Isak's not on the pitch by the looks of it. So I like Gordon. He's had a rest. He's got good fixtures. But I would argue Wolves is a much tougher fixture at the moment, given the fact the new managers improved Wolves than Southampton. And therefore, I think I'm more likely to go Bruno. So look, let's talk about my team and my benching dilemmas and how Bruno fits in with my long-term vision in just a second. I want to give a shout out to OneFootball. Guys, OneFootball lives on the home screen of my phone. I'm literally on it day and night for my football news. Whether you want Premier League news or European football news, it's all there. Press conference quotes, transfer speculation, stats from games, but also video clips from games. If you just want to see the goals in the Premier League, you go onto the fixture, you get a 2-minute highlight package. It's perfect. Guys, if you're not already on OneFootball, it's a free football app. It should live on the home screen of your phone. Get downloading now. You won't regret it. It's my favourite football app. It always has been, way before they sponsored this YouTube channel. So thank you guys, as always, for your support. But look, let's talk a little bit more about the big news headlines from the game week, because one of them is João Pedro. Okay, now João Pedro has been, we saw he was injured. We saw Brighton played in the FA Cup and João Pedro didn't feature. Now, João Pedro plays for Brighton on Thursday. We're not going to get a press conference before that. The FPL deadline is Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday fixtures. So we have to gamble on João Pedro. Do we sell him? I don't think we do off the back of this tweet. Scan okay. Solly scored. Qualified for the next round. Have a good weekend, Albion fans. It feels like he's probably going to be all right. But look, there's been nothing official from Hersler or Brighton. We just know he's had an injury. I think he probably plays against Ipswich, and I think he's a very, very dangerous sell because João Pedro is a brilliant own moving forward. We've seen points in recent weeks, and Ipswich is a game you don't want to be losing him for. He could go big. So whether he starts or not, I'd expect him to either start and be fine or probably not feature at all. I can't see him getting 10, 20 minutes off the bench. Like, his fitness is there. He doesn't need to be eased in. He's either fit or he's not fit. So let's see. Let's see with João Pedro. But how this works for my team, well, look, this is how I'm setting up. I've currently got a bit of a benching dilemma. At the moment, I've got a benching dilemma in goal. Do I go Sales or Fabianski? But Sales is in there at the moment. Lewis Hall, Munoz and Trent are in, but my bench is strong at the back. I've got Mikalenko and Rico Lewis benched. Midfield, Palmer, Foden, Rodgers and Salah. We're benching Enzo at the moment, okay, with a good fixture against Bournemouth. And then João Pedro, Jackson and Isak. Of course, if João Pedro doesn't play, then Enzo comes in. So look, I'm happy with this 11. Genuinely, guys, I could still roll the transfer this game week if I bottle the move. But as things stand, I've got 0.5 million in the bank. I've got one free transfer. I am looking to use, I think, that transfer this game week. Guys, by the way, do hit that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, I would really appreciate you subscribing to start 2025 in fashion. Trying to get to 30k subs by the end of the season. It's a bit of a long shot, but maybe we can get there. So I don't need to use a transfer this week. Foden's fine, but Brentford away is tough. And I look at City's fixtures moving forward, and I know I'm going to be selling Foden soon because he goes on a rough run from game week 23. If I'm going to be selling him soon anyway, why not get on someone like Bruno now, who's still got a better next two fixtures? Bruno has Southampton and Brighton at home. They're good for goals. Anthony Gordon's got Wolves at home and Bournemouth at home. They're good for goals. So I feel like I should use a transfer. So look, let's just sample this team with Bruno in. What does that do straight away? Well, it gives me 1.3 million in the bank. So straight away, yeah, no free transfers. Bruno is in, but 1.3 in the kitty, which I feel like is quite nice, especially when we start to think about that assistant manager chip, which comes in from game week 24 if we want to use it. Having money in the bank will be really valuable for that chip. So this is where I'm at with Bruno in the team. Of course, it still gives me a bit of a benching dilemma between Fabianski and Enzo. I think I'm fine with that. Bruno in feels good. I'm a little bit worried about Foden minutes anyway. Bruno will always be a 90-minute man. So I think that's a move I will be making this game week. I've sold you Bruno as it is. I still like Ahmad very much. He offers brilliant value at Man United, but he's had an injury issue. We saw him only come off the bench late against Arsenal. And Bruno just feels like Mr. Consistent. Then when we look ahead and we talk captaincy, and guys, I'm going to talk about that assistant managership in a minute because I think that's really important to touch on this game week, knowing we've now got the player prices. So when we talk about my team and captaincy, I've been pretty loyal to Mo Salah in recent weeks, and I did a early captain thoughts poll. I want to compare the poll I did on the 5th of Jan versus the poll I did on the 11th of January to see how our thoughts changed around captaincy as the game week went on. Guys, I said in my early thoughts video, I'm probably going to captain Alexander Isak, right? I expected the crowd to still be on Mo Salah. And when I recorded that on the 5th of January, we can see it was pretty split. Isak 37%, Isak 38%, Salah 37%, 1% in it. 15% going Palmer, 10% going Bruno. We then polled it over a week later, and Isak came out on 50% or 49%, Salah on 23%, Palmer still on 15%, and Bruno on 14%. Really interesting that the momentum has shifted away from Salah to Isak. Not much has changed. Both players have been given a rest, didn't play in the FA Cup games. We've heard Isak had maybe a slight knock, but he's going to be fine. What changed? I don't know. Maybe what changed is people being a little bit more confident to back against Mo. And obviously we saw Nottingham Forest beat Wolves 3-0 on that Monday night game. And again, maybe that changed people's perceptions. Forest are so good. They're second in the league. It's a tough game for Salah. Do I think Salah scores points? Do I think Liverpool win? Probably yes and yes. But do I think the ceiling is there for Mo Salah? Can I see Liverpool winning 3-4, 5-0? Absolutely not. Can I see Wolves or even Cole Palmer and Bruno? Can I see Isak, Palmer, Bruno being in a team that wins 4-5-0? Yeah, I absolutely can. Now, Isak has been on an absolutely sensational form of late. I think he's scored something like 8 or 9 goals in his last 7 games. He hasn't blanked, I think, in 7 games. He is Mr. Consistent. And the XG backs it up too. In the last 5 games alone, when you just go non-pen XG, look at this, guys. 6.12 from Isak. He's averaging more than an expected goal every game in the last 5. Now, Salah matches that, 5.22. So he's almost 1 XG behind Mo Salah. But then, those two are so clear. Then you're looking at 5-game sample, 3rd, 4th and 5th, 2.25 Diaz, 2.24 Jackson, 2.21 Jesus. Gabriel Jesus. Jesus, just reading out my tweet there. And pretty much it just shows Isak and Salah are in a class of their own. For me, you have to back one of them. I know Cole Palmer's been great, but he hasn't been getting the chances. Chelsea attack isn't functioning. It's Isak versus Salah. I'm going to go Isak. I can't tell you for sure what my transfer is this game week. I think it'll be Bruno in. But I can tell you I'm going to captain Alexander Isak. And that is where I think I'm at this weekend, guys. Let me know this midweek. Let me know what you're planning to do in the comments. We're going to talk assistant managership. Guys, drop a comment, by the way, with not only your captaincy decision, but also what you think on Bruno versus Gordon. There's a massive debate this week. Assistant managership has dropped, right? Dropped a few weeks ago. Dropped, I think, early mid-December. Only this week have we had the prices. Now, I just want to touch on this. The prices are pretty much irrelevant. Whoever you think is the best assistant manager for your team, you should be picking that player. You should be picking that manager. Find the money between 0.5 and 1.5. Does it matter? Personally, I'm going to be going for the assistant manager chips with bonus. I'm really interested in the bonus this season because I'm having a bad season as well. And we know my rank, it's over 1 million. Because of that, I want to be going for upside, and the bonus system allows us to target upside. So, to recap on the points, if your assistant manager wins a game, you pick an assistant manager just for 3 game weeks. That can include double game weeks, by the way. So let's say you get 4 games. Most of us will go around a double. Now, if they win a game, you get +6. Draw a game, +3. For every goal, +1. For every clean sheet, +2. But if you win that game, this is where it is. If you win that game, and you beat a team above you by 5 places or more in the Premier League, or you draw 5 places above you in the Premier League with a team 5 places above you, it's +10 for a win, +5 for a draw. That takes a win to +16. That takes a draw to +8. I'm in it for the bonus because I'm going to be chasing. So I'm looking at probably managers that are lower half managers, but probably your Graham Potters, your David Moyes, probably 10th to 15th. And I'll be targeting those teams who have fixtures against teams that are 5th to 10th. And I think that's my strategy this year. When I'll play it, I'm not too sure, but it'll be around a double game week. And the rest of my chip strategy will fall in line. I'm beelining for the assistant managership because it's the one that offers most upside. You might get 20 extra points from a triple captain or a bench boost or a free hit. You're getting more than 20 points. Certainly a bigger ceiling with the assistant managership. So whether you like it or not, we've got to wise up to the fact that it's the best chip in the game. Guys, thank you so much for watching this channel. I'll be back with a deadline stream on Tuesday. Stay tuned for that. Thank you as always for your support, for liking and for subscribing. Do that on the way out, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.